as well.
Thanks, Steve. And we'll share this with you, Heather and Linda. If you want to go ahead and just chat me your email, we'll share with you the recording too. Okay, and then we can also include you in the distribution list for the groups if you're ever interested. But for now, I'll just send the recording to you.
Excellent. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm just going to turn my light off in the background. I think that'll be conducive. And while we're doing the meditation, if anyone would like to turn their screens off so they're just totally comfortable and relaxed, or their own lights off, we won't take too long, but I will turn mine off. Now, excuse me, because I get up at 2, I've got pajamas on, so excuse me.
That's an option.
There you go.
Perfect.
Well, the other thing that I do when I'm doing these meditations, I normally like to wear my pajamas because I'd like to using that early morning window before the EMP pulse, the dawn EMP pulse comes around the planet, and where all our natural cities, etc., are always enhanced and magnified. But also I'm in natural fibers. So when we're talking about our toroidal field or the expansion of consciousness, I generally work in natural fibers because it's about field propagation, charge propagation in the field. So the toroidal field itself is a dynamic or a plasma domain that we're actually spinning in, and we're going to use in this meditation. Okay, so that's just to give you a bit of background.
Thank you so much, Deb, for that introduction. So, all right, so we're recording it right now, our call session right now. Deb's going to lead us in group meditation, and I'm going to put myself on mute. All right, Deb.
Okay. Now, to start this meditation, what I want to do is just frame it with the frequency of gratitude. When we enter, I want us to feel that frequency of community and gratitude for this community. The gratitude is a frequency platform that we can work with to take us into higher states of consciousness. So this community, the gratitude we feel to Teresa and to this community, just feel it within yourself and allow it to propagate through your field. The frequency of gratitude. And breathing in, breathing out, filling your whole body now with a deep breath, bringing it up from the earth all the way to the pineal. Breathing in, expanding, breathing out. Bringing the breath back up from the earth. Breathe in deeply, expand, hold. Breathe out all the way to the pineal. With the next breath, I want you to breathe in deeply so that the body feels like it's expanding all the way past its natural material boundaries. Breathing in from the earth all the way up to your pineal. Expand, hold, breathe out. Deep breaths. We're now going to enter the stillness, where your mind is still, your body is still, and all is well. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Your body is getting heavier now, and your mind is calming. Your mind is still, your body is still. And we begin to sense the feeling of expansion, moving past the material domain, expanding. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. If any thoughts float by, allow them to float. Do not connect, just observe and come back to the breath. Breathing in, breathing out. You begin to feel a light within, the light within the pineal, the piezochromatic crystals expanding, flashing, lighting. Your own photonic light expanding around you as you breathe in and you breathe out. And you begin to feel your toroidal field spinning, spinning freely, spinning out your consciousness projecting as you breathe in and you breathe out, spinning and expanding, your light, your consciousness freeing, yourself a plasma field, a plasma donut, spinning in time-space, spinning, expanding, your consciousness floating and expanding, your light floating and expanding, free of the material domain, spinning, expanding in space, no longer connected to linear time, your light floating in the nothingness, your consciousness free, uninhibited. Spin, expand and float. And as your awareness floats within the nothingness, you search for other lights, feeling the magnetism of those lights of this community now gathering around as one, spinning and floating, expanding, your consciousness well past the earthly boundaries and limitations. Our lights are coming together now, our community of lights, drawn together magnetically in a united, coherent light. All the lights becoming one, all the toroidal fields becoming one, nested in a spherical 3D sphere of light, spinning through time-space, no longer connected to anything but intent. And we come together in gratitude, and our light expands, our compassion expands. We are one, we are coherent, we are united in intention of compassion and benevolence, spinning and radiating in time-space. Unlimited, boundless, free. A unified intention, a new harmonic in the universe, a new frequency set. We are united in consciousness, united in gratitude, united in compassion for this great planet that is our host and home. Spinning, expanding. In one as one, we radiate intention. Intention to radiate compassion, to transmit and surround and encompass this blue planet that is our home. Radiating, spinning compassion, expanding our benevolence. Our beautiful planet becomes nested within our consciousness, our we state in the nothingness, and we radiate to our home. Spin, expand, radiate compassion, benevolence, and gratitude for all that she is and all that we are, united, coaginate, one, spinning, expanding. And we float in the time space and we feel as one, our harmonic frequency recorded in the annals of the halls of time. We are one, we are whole, we are sovereign and we are free, and we spin and expand and radiate to all that is. And we hold the frequency and we float aware. Our consciousness is so expansive now, and we touch the expanded states of being that we all are, a singularity of consciousness, floating, expanding, free. And just floating in that frequency for a short time, we know that we must return home. We feel the call of our planet, but we feel the pull of the other homes, the other selves, the 10,000 aspects that call to us. We feel ourselves as one, evolved, expanded, but it is time to return. We touch that higher state of consciousness with gratitude, but it is time to return. And returning on the frequency of gratitude, we follow our thread back to our breath, coming back to the breath, coming back to the physical vessel in which we chose to incarnate for our purpose in this life. Follow the breath to home, breathing in breathing out, the physical vessel animating with your intent, your awareness, your thought, following the breath, breathing in, breathing out, coming home to fulfill your purpose in this now time and this now space on this now planet. Breathing in, breathing out, feeling your fingers, feeling your vessel, wriggling your toes. Breathing in, breathing out, feeling your feet on planet Earth, coming home to this now time, this now space, this now moment. Just stay in this space for a moment, and when you're ready, stretch, rub your earlobes, stimulate all the meridians within the body to allow the chi to flow through the body. If you've had a deep experience, rub your hands together to create heat and place them over their eyes to stimulate the visual cortex and rods within the eyes. Breathing in, breathing out, ensure you are separated, whole, individuated, coming back to this moment, coming back to this time, coming back to this space, coming back to this body, and you are home. Take your time, and when you're ready, come back.
Thanks, Deb. I was typing things in chat, so as folks came in, they knew where we were at. And so I didn't think initially I went deep, but once you had us go back into our body, like my eyes are super heavy. So yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah, I obviously kept it short for the purpose of this group because we have an agenda, but it's a lovely space to touch when we can come together as one and actually feel those evolved states of self and feel that connection of consciousness as one coaginate group and one plasma domain spinning in time space. And that's where, to lead in with Heather and Linda, that's where we can be in creation mode as well, and the filaments of plasma will spin off our toroidal field, and our thought and our intention create as we spin. It's a beautiful place. So, okay, welcome back, everybody. I hope you had a moment.
Thank you, Deb.
Thank you so much, Deb. So Melinda briefly touched how the universe worked in favor for her to connect with Heather and Linda. If you wouldn't mind resharing your story, Melinda, for those who haven't heard the other recording, that'd be wonderful.
Well, and Heather and Linda can chime in too, but I sometimes have difficulty with Etsy because of my VPN. So I was excited when I was able to get on the site and place another order for their wonderful plasma water. And it said it was processing, and the excitement was abounding. And then I got an email hours later saying, oh, your order's no longer processing and we don't know why. And contact the merchant, maybe they're out of stock. And I'm like,
vanished from our screen. It
Yeah,
did. It vanished.
It just, and you said it just vanished on your end. And I checked with my bank and they hadn't denied the transaction. It just literally went poof. But I didn't want them to think I was an Etsy flake. So I was emailing them. And I could only email from my phone. It wouldn't even let me email from my laptop. But I let them know who I was and that I was a Penny Kelly student. And here's my cell phone number. And, I really do want to pay for this. So when they called me, it was Heather, I think, who said, well, it looks like it was meant to be, because I started talking about this group and how we're learning about plasma water. And then you guys graciously volunteered to speak with us, and it couldn't get much better than that. And they still, because they were so organized, they immediately started processing my order when they first saw it. They still made it into town that day and mailed it. I got it like 2 days later. So look at it go. Thank you.
It just all
And
fell into place.
Yeah. And I will measure the chicken water dispenser today. I keep forgetting to do that. So
Yes, definitely. That's a wonderful place to use it. Pets love it too.
yeah, they're gonna make a hug that fits around the chicken water dispensers. So everybody will be happy.
Yeah, it was all good. I just felt like, okay, I need to talk to this lady. Okay, I'll give her a call. One thing led to another, and that's just perfect. I was like, oh yeah,
Fascinating what
that
all
would be
happened.
fun to talk to everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, welcome and thank you so much. We're very excited. I'm personally have always been interested and just haven't had time to do the research and properly learn about it. So appreciate hearing about it from the creators themselves.
Yeah, well, like I always say, it's a lot easier to use than it is to explain. So
Yes.
we can do that too, but the main thing is just get it near some water and it does its work. And you can add to that with your consciousness and directing it as to what you'd like it to do, right?
Right, right. And Heather and Linda, why don't you go ahead and share your background and how the plasma water started?
Okay, sounds good. So I guess started back in 2014-ish, right? We have a good friend, a mutual friend with Penny. Her name is Susie Miller, that we have worked with for many years, doing different kinds of consciousness studies and working with a group of parents of, I'll just say kids with awesome needs, right?
Awesomeism
Yeah, an
on the-
awesomeism
on
program.
the spectrum.
So actually Susie's the one that said, hey, this guy Kesh is talking about some pretty cool stuff. It seems up your alley. She knew I was really into science and alchemy and things of that nature. So I turned it on, started listening to it, and I don't think I turned it off for about
3 years.
first 3 years.
Or
I
something
think I
like that.
listened to I think I listened to everything he said. It just really resonated, especially the part about the plasma water technologies. There's a lot of different things that he teaches that have to do with, like, free energy devices for your home, stuff like that, which was interesting-ish, but the plasma water part of it really enthralled me to no end. So I started playing with it. It's somewhat alchemy, somewhat chemistry, a lot of consciousness. You do put things together in a container of salt water and watch them grow, which is a lot of fun. And that's what makes you actually make a physical plasma structure called GaNS. And from that, that's how you decant and save and share the plasma water. So somewhere around then we started just, sharing the plasma water we made via patches, something that we call just a little plastic patch container where we put a few ounces of the plasma water in and sealed it and sent it to them in the mail. So
At that time, it was just Susie's group, and now it's Penny's group.
yeah,
Yeah.
we were just sharing it with them because we were playing with it and
Yeah.
talking about it and whatnot. And the funny thing about all this is, we're having the experiences we're having playing with it, the way that we play with it. And we
Yeah.
don't know, is somebody else going to have the same experience in their own space, in their own home? I had no idea. So I just, send out, you guys play with it, let us know what you feel and find out. And we were getting all kinds of great feedback as to, people, yes, they were having similar experiences. And then I started working with a friend, another mutual friend. He is a medical doctor, but he also does a lot of testing, I guess, via pendulum dowsing, those types of things. And he helped me a lot working with the different formulas, how to do the different experiments, which ways to set up some of the parts of the chemistry. Do I use this type of copper, that type of copper, how long do we set it up? There was a whole lot that Kesh taught, and there's a whole lot that he left for you to work out. I'll put it that way, right?
Okay.
And the teachings themselves, Kesh was talking several times a week, constantly, very deep accent, foreign
About
kind
8,
of
9 hours a
accent.
day.
And, just almost a little haphazardly, the information coming out. So being able to actually receive the information, understand it, and then go, to your countertop in your lab or your, actually that
Garage.
was our kitchen, our garage at that point,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
that was another story. So
Oh, yeah.
that's another thing I got involved in was, okay, how do we put this material together where it's understandable so people can make it themselves and learn what it's about and how to use it. So I got involved in that part. He did give classes for medical professionals, and yeah, I did have a job at some point, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
One time.
Up till sometime last year when they were requiring things that I wasn't going to participate in.
Yeah.
So I kind of gave that contract up for the moment to pursue other things. So
Yeah.
good
thing you
that's
did.
where I'm at. And yeah,
Good thing you did,
yeah, I'm
because this is taking a lot of
I
time.
honestly don't know how I had time to go to work. But so just background on me, I'm my license to touch is a physical therapist, and I worked in hospitals and clinics and stuff for 35 years. No, 33 years, I think. Yeah. So
You rounded up to 5.
super interested in health, you know, and what is really behind dis-ease and health. And playing with this technology gave me a lot of those answers and insights. And then there's something else that I do as well, which is it's called SRT, it's spiritual response therapy. And along with many other energy medicine, consciousness studies that I've done in the last 10 years, I think I was just sucking it up like a sponge. You know, at some point I figured out the traditional medical model wasn't really going anywhere with a lot of its continuing education and what do we really know and how do we really help people rebalance. So of course first I was walking on the side of that fence, and then I think I just completely jumped over the fence, right?
Yeah.
And let's learn all those kind of things. So I feel like there's a lot of different layers to working with plasma is the point, right?
Right. So you mentioned that you've been teaching folks as well how to put material together. In what how do you do that, or are you still teaching that?
Well, I haven't in the past 4 or 5 years. I guess that initially when we were just really gung-ho about it, we had a lot of friends that we were taking the classes with. We put together some classes in town, basically local classes. We just rented out the local Lions Club, and some of the people that were traveling around the United States doing the classes as well, they joined us a couple times, and we did some things on our own. And that was a lot of fun, you know, just bring people in, teach them how to do it. We have little tables set up all around, you know, and we had them bring some supplies, and then we, you know, taught them and provided some of the other supplies that are needed, and then showed them how to make the things that they could make from it. We did some really cool things, like we did one that was to get things ready to send to Standing Rock.
Oh, yeah.
You know, when that was going on.
Right.
Had a fella that was his big inspiration was to go up there himself and, you know, take some plasma, teach them how to do it, maybe help them, you know, health wise and emotional stability wise, you know, with that whole thing that was going on. So we did a program in town, taught people how to make the stuff. They made, you know, the little plasma patches. And here, if I can, do you want me to screen share? Is that okay?
Yes, that would be
Sometimes, like, I'm
lovely.
seeing some of this stuff, I do have some little things that I could share.
And would you be open to teaching online? Because I know the group would love to learn as well, and we'd be more than happy to, you know, pay for the class.
Oh, dear.
So something to consider for y'all to consider.
Right. So one thing first that
Yeah.
says host disabled participant screen sharing. So I guess the host will have to enable
Oh,
me.
let me have you bear with me.
Yep, no problem.
Okay, I do not want to share. Come on, I pressed the wrong button, so
And if
bear
you
with
can,
me.
that's fine too. Sometimes I just, you know, I can.
Yeah,
share.
no worries. I'm gonna actually stop sharing. So I clicked on the wrong thing, so bear with me. I'm going to make you the host, and then if you can make me the host after you're done sharing, that would be wonderful. Okay.
I guess you can in-service me on doing that part.
All right. So I just made you the host.
Okay, and I'm gonna do, oh no, it doesn't show me my desktop. Normally, if I push share, I'll zoom to share. Oh, I'm realizing that I have a new computer and I haven't
Oh,
authorized this, that,
right.
and the other on that, and I don't know if I can do that on the fly. So, wow, interesting, because it was
No.
saying I haven't authorized it in some certain settings.
In the preferences, yeah.
Gotcha. Did you want to go ahead and just make me the host and then send me the link or whatever you'd like me to share?
Let's see. And I would send that to you via email.
Yes, let me send that to you now.
Mhm.
Bear with me. Apologies for
It's-
the delay.
If it works,
right.
out, we'll do it. And if it doesn't, we'll do it next time. I would
Yeah,
like to. I love to do that sometimes. But in response to your question, willingness to teach. So,
Well,
Linda's good.
well, yeah, as we were over the years, as we were making things, we were videoing what we were doing.
Oh, wow.
So it's on the YouTube channel.
Yes.
On
Oh, great.
how we were doing it along the way, even in the garage, in the cold, and the
I know.
we were, yeah, it was all mostly all of it being recorded as we were doing it, going along.
Oh,
So
that's
one
wonderful.
place to start for beginners, I would say, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, did I get to the point of putting together a coherent set of classes that someone could just go click, click, click? No, it is certainly in my, always been in my list of when I have some time to put something together and organize it better.
Yeah.
Type of thing, but I don't quite have it in that stage yet. We got as far as, you know, Penny called us up and said, hey, I'd like to share this with my Patreon people. Can you put it in some sort of a way that we can, you know, send it to people? And we spent quite a bit of time and trial and error and finally figured out how we could get it in these little tiny tubes, right?
Right.
Just to contain it and to package it and to send it out is a lot of problem solving and time and, you know, trying all the different
Trial and
things
error.
that we could
Right.
try,
And
containers and
purchasing different products, trying to
yeah.
experiment with them.
Now, you know, to me, I'm all
Oh,
about
wait. So quick question. What's the name of your YouTube channel that you recorded the videos in?
it is here. I'll just do this. One with light. Yeah, see how my
Perfect.
up there like that? Yeah, that's the
Okay.
Mhm.
Perfect.
And then it's BitChute. On BitChute, it's the HbPlasmasolutions.
Great. Now, would you mind making me the host by any chance while we're here?
Oh, you unhosted me. Okay. or I
Yes,
unhosted
yes.
Somebody. And then I do that how?
You just click on my name on the 3 dots. So if you look at the upper right-hand corner, there's 3 dots. And when you click on that, there's a drop-down window and you'll indicate make host.
There's your 3 dots. I had to make my screen a little bit larger. So now I
Yeah,
got,
no worries.
you're teaching me something. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, that's one of the things in my one of these days I would like to do that. There's a whole lot of hand holding that would go along with it. Yes, the items that you use are simple for starters, but how you go through the processes of making it and rinsing it and saving it and the temperatures, things like that, it takes some explanation, quite a bit. Now, that being said, I'm very close to finishing this little video that a friend sent of mine when he was involved in a hurricane in Puerto Rico or wherever, just showing when you know, are in emergency situation,
Mhm.
Mhm.
this is what you do. Because you don't have all the amenities, you don't basically have even a garage. Everything just fell down. So you're going to go and you're going to find these 3 things. You're going to put them in a cup and you're going to set them over here.
Okay, yeah,
You
that's
know?
beautiful, yeah.
And I
That's
think
excellent.
that would be, yeah, I've got,
Yeah.
he told me that he was okay with doing that and really wanted that being done anyways. And then kind of elaborate from there. We have made kits for people in the past. I actually have a bunch of them out there. I just haven't gotten to the point of being able to make them ready with the education. Because I think that part, you know, you can't just send somebody that. They're just like, okay, now what? You know?
There's only the 2 of us doing this.
Yeah, I have a PDF on it, some videos. But for the moment, we've emphasized, okay, how can we get as much of this out to as many people as possible so they can just start playing with it? You know, because that's part of learning about it, is what does it do and how can you interact with it? And hey, when I spray that on a berry, how come it doesn't get moldy? You know,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Wow, that's amazing. So what has been the most surprising outcome as you've worked with plasma water? And how did you know, well, first, how did you know plasma water works? And then what's been the most surprising
Yes.
kind of revelation or experience, like, wow, okay, I didn't know.
For me, it was the fruits and vegetables.
Yeah, they demonstrate a lot.
Yeah, because when we first started and we made the spray bottles and stuff, and I was spraying everything. I was spraying the walls, the ceilings, the beds, everything. And of course, to include everything we purchased at the store, food, clothing, everything, I was spraying it. I was spraying it in my laundry. I put plasma water in my laundry water. And just with things like that, we discovered a lot of what the plasma will do. And then what I realized, excuse me for
No, do it.
but what I realized is I was playing with it. Playing is a key word here. Key word. Once you get caught up and get all serious with it, it works different. It works, but it works differently. But as I was playing with it, I realized it was the plasma water that I was spraying and what I was commanding it to do, you know, commanding in a playful way. Balance all the energies and preserve. That's a command to me in a playful way. And I realized that it was doing what I was commanding it to do, or what I was asking it to do. And it's like, wait a minute, I can, it was just doing it because I could see the results. You know, it's been in the fruits and vegetables really demonstrate the results, you know, quickly, pretty much straight away. And that's where the fun part is, seeing the result. Yeah.
And then, yeah, I'm going to just reiterate that I think a box of spinach is the best place to start. So you know how you buy the little box of greens for your salad, right? So take those out, spray them a little bit, put it back. And then we kind of forgot about it, went on vacation, came back like 3 weeks later. And, you know, that box of spinach normally, you know, within the week it's slime, right? And it's a mess.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh no, there's that box of spinach down there, and took it out. And it just looked like we had just put it in there for the most part. You know, there may be one little leaf that's a little bit needed to be taken out. And then maybe like a leaf that was like yellow, like a normal like process a leaf would go through, right? Just one, but then all the other ones are fine. That's to me, that it demonstrates what Penny shares, is that the plasma gives that life back to the thing. Like it doesn't really know it's been picked, right? It's still connected to source. It's still receiving energy. When you add energy to something, to matter, then it holds its you know, material expression. It's not knowing that it's dead. It's not giving the environment the signal that it's dead, right? So therefore the molds and the bacteria and the stuff that's their job to do breakdown, right? They don't get the message, this thing is dead. Okay. So to me, it's like whatever you spray it on, the concept of entropy and breakdown gets stalled or paused, right? And all it does is that is so slow, if there is any of it, it's so slow that it just kind of dehydrates, but doesn't go bad. So like, you know, if you sprayed on the strawberries and they're sitting out on the counter, again, there may be, like if it's a huge tray, we get tons of them because our garden goes nuts this time of year. But like on a huge tray of strawberries, there may be one or two that actually did mold or something, you know, but it doesn't like spread through the tray, right? And it's like the environment picks these two. Okay, maybe there's a little mold in the atmosphere. Let's just put it on this one, right? And then over a period, you know, if you continue to spritz it and spray it, sometimes I'll put it on things like zucchini and squash. I diced up a bunch of them. I was going to put them on the dehydrator, but I didn't get around to it. And then it's in one of the videos, and here in a little bit, they're dry. I mean, they're just like they had been put on the dehydrator. They had dehydrated themselves. Its environment here is like, what I'm looking at the monitor over there, 50 to 60% humidity. And which is amazing to me that things actually dehydrate when I ask them to. It's like,
with water.
Start the process, dehydrate me.
Wow. So here, I'm going to repeat what you shared just in my own words. So to your point, the plasma water is life generating. And to your point as well, you shared that what it's sprayed on, fruits and vegetables, still is connected to source. And because it is life generated, it's almost like connecting to your intention. So when you're playing with the command, it receives that connection. It's almost like a circuit.
It's a catalyst.
It demonstrates
it's a catalyst. I see it as, okay, here's a space to do this within. I mean, you can do any of these things, and I always tell people that. You can do any of these things without any of these things, right? They're all permission slips-ish. But I feel like the plasma does bring in a neutral, coherent field, you know, kind of like that Vesica Pisces thing, you know, that makes that flow easier, the communication more.
I call it a circuit. So almost kind of like the wiring for the communication.
Yes.
And the humans just naturally want proof of things.
Yeah.
Okay. Want to see it, feel it, whatever. And I think by starting with doing the vegetables shows you that.
Beautiful.
Gives you proof of what's going on.
Right.
You don't have to understand it.
Right. Just have to witness it.
I mean, who really understands it anyway, you know, but it works.
So Deb has a question, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's okay. Go for it.
Oh, thank you, Carissa. Thanks, ladies. It's a real pleasure to see you here. Really grateful. Sorry, I got to get my voice back. I've got your vials. I ordered them when Penny had the Patreon offer. I've got two questions. The first question is, how long does the water stay structured? Does it have like a use by date? And can we reinvest it with consciousness? What do we do, or do we order new ones?
Yeah, that's on my FAQ page that people like you have helped me develop, right?
And my favorite statement is, it's a gift that keeps on giving and giving.
Yeah, I have heard everything from it never dies to, you know, replace it within a year. You know, the ones that we have used, that we made and have been using for what, 6-7 years
Since 2014.
I haven't noticed or tested, and I do have my own ways of doing the testing, that any of it has decreased over that period of time.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm picking up as well. Yeah.
Okay, good.
You know, I feel that, like you were saying, it's like another life. I don't know, a little dog or a pet or whatever. You know, you talk to it, you use it, you interact with it. I think that you know, is the best way to keep it going. Does it ever need
that's good.
Updated? I listened to afterlife interview with Dr. Emoto, you know, the messages from water.
Yeah.
And somebody asked him that about the water, you know, you put your hand on it, put intentions, how long does it last? So once you start bringing that water that's been plasmified into your system, your system becomes that, right? So how do you need this more than the first day? Probably not, you know? But, you know, we go back out into the world and our, you know, we go down.
Got you. Okay. So I'm actually producing like the atoms the same as you would harvest for the plasma water.
You are the water bottle.
Okay. You've got you.
Right.
So that makes absolute sense because my tubes still feel, I think the word I could only use is they feel vital. So they don't feel like they've depleted because they respond to consciousness. So when I pick them up, it's like they're connecting. But it just came to me when you were talking because I do distance work and I was doing a session a couple of days ago, and quite often crystals will actually talk to me and I'll get a visual grid, so I lay them out. So I had apopholites because they're high in water content, but the vials were actually coming into my consciousness. So have you introduced them into a healing session? Because quite often I pick up this issue with people. If we had structured water in the session, that could be quite interesting. Have you had any experience of that?
Well, it's actually kind of the other way around. So I do, like I said, SRT sessions. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's just a way of looking into the seed reason behind various dis-ease states. Of course, use a pendulum and charts. And usually we can clear things that way. To me, you know, that's like the ultimate plasma. You don't have any other things to use, right? You just do it through intention and consciousness and that connection between the two of you. But a lot of the times I'm guided to send them some of these things, right? Or to apply, or to do what we call apply it, right? You can apply the plasma, say, okay, just like you can apply the Reiki, or you can apply the color or the frequency or whatever at a distance. And so, you know, some of the time I'm guided to send them this as some additional support.
Okay. All right. Thanks, ladies.
I wanted to say something about the word structured. Structured water, because people have asked that, you know, does this structure the water? I don't know. To me, that there's different physics that you can talk about with water, right? You know, on the 3D level, you can freeze it, you can boil it, or it can be at the liquid state. But then when you start getting into the discussion of plasma, the physics is different. So is it physically changing the structure of the molecule? I know that it's changing the frequency isn't even the right word. Kesh says it's really beyond the subject of frequency. You know, when you get to bridge consciousness, there is no duality.
Is it change? Okay, so is it changing the consciousness of the water because it's still energy and, you know, in its own way, it's sentient, as Dr. Emoto's work would show. It has a consciousness and intelligence.
I think it would be okay, when you said that, is it changing the consciousness of the water? I would think my only tweak on that would be that it's bringing more consciousness into the water.
Okay, that makes sense.
And clearing it of the discordant, sorry, I got stuff coming, and clearing it of the discordant energies that it was carrying.
That makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
What would you say?
Well, I was just, as you guys were speaking about that, it brings water or whatever it field it's in back to a natural state of being.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay.
I feel
it. Yeah, so that actually makes sense, because what I was doing in that particular session, for example, was saying, because I sort of was superimposed over the other body. So I was saying, commanding it to return to its original perfect state. So we're talking to the plasmas and within the actual field that we're working in. So that makes sense what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah, and you know, Penny talks a lot about live water, dead water. I wasn't really familiar with those terms until I got a hold of her. So of course I go searching. And I found something called the Bovis scale, which it measures the life force energy of something. And the way they look at it, if something is right spinning, then it's more like entropic, breaking down, kind of that lower end of frequencies, death and dying side, right? And then if it's left spinning, and if it's above 7,000, then it's
entropic.
Towards life, it's expanding, it's helping to process things that are not like life, that kind of things. I started measuring the plasma on that scale, and I'll see if I can coordinate enough to go ahead and send that on the email to be brought up as a screen
Thank
share.
you, ladies. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Thanks so much. We also had another question, and this actually comes from Irene. Does the material so when we're placing the plasma water, the vial against a bottle, does the material of the bottle, whether it's the doubly insulated stainless steel or the glass, does that impact, depending upon the bottle that it's placed on, does that impact the transmission of the plasma water?
Excellent question. We get that one quite a bit as well. And so the first thing that comes to mind is that would be the case if we were looking at 3D physics, right? And things that interact with matter. But because the plasma functions more on a quantum level, that's not really a thing. You know how like a Faraday cage, they're still able to, remote view in and out of there. They're still able to send frequencies, but not necessarily electricity, right? Or electromagnetic fields and stuff like that.
Yes.
Do you have anything to add to that? So, we've always put on there, and I've checked it in the ways that I check things, that it's pretty much equal, right? You can use it in a glass container, a metal container. We use these, the stainless steel, right?
Stainless steel.
Yeah.
And plastic. Plastic. It seems to not matter.
Correct.
In my experience.
Great. That's awesome to be aware of. So that'll be very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I love the questions because they help me kind of work out the, what I need to include in the information on things.
For sure. Oh, Deb, your hand's raised again. Go ahead.
Sorry, you made me think of another question. So with the actual plasmas, so the atoms have separated from the original copper, and you've got what you're harvesting. Is that a correct assumption? They've actually individuated as more intelligent atoms or molecules. But so when we're in proximity to them, they're actually shedding. So we're in training to those actual molecules, aren't we?
Yeah, like a tuning
So it's
fork.
not, so, and because we're, or Penny calls a house of frequencies, or because we're we're mainly constituted of water, we become resonant with the plasma then, don't we?
Yes, there you go. That the part of you, that is in complete harmony will resonate with the plasma fields, and then Kesh always said that the stronger always feeds the weaker. It'll just bring it back up and anything.
So because I was thinking from a perspective with how we had all the people that had, or myself included, who had the injection and then had to work with it, like the shot. So there was an entanglement and a shedding that would occur with that. This would actually be a competing frequency set that would take out the disresonant frequencies in a person's field, because it's actually bringing it back into alignment and harmony. Is that like, am I going too far with that?
No, I think that's accurate, because it tends to have the attribute of bringing things back to their original blueprint. That's another thing of it. In fact, which can be challenging or not. And I'll bring that one up as far as our spinach is concerned.
Yeah.
So,
So
you know,
yeah.
a GMO, oh, sorry, you were going to say something?
I was just saying, so it's the negentropic side of the model. You're taking the chaos out of this bag of frequencies and restoring it. You're actually retuning and recalibrating back to its original frequency set.
Yeah, so it's
Very
not
good.
giving you anything different, really. It's just kind of
Okay.
cleaning house a little bit.
Yeah,
It reminds
perfect.
me of the GMO comment. Kesh
Oh, yeah.
always says that this will clear the GMO because that's all that is. The original blueprint is still there in that seed. All that is an energetic
Right.
overlay, a discordant energetic overlay,
Mm.
right? And
Mhm.
I mean, just delete that thing. You know, why do you need that? You know,
That's absolutely. Oh, that's
Delete that
wonderful.
program.
Thank
You know,
you.
just like when we do energy work, you know, with somebody investigating, you know, what's the emotional energy behind
Yeah.
this? Okay, well, we'll look.
Yeah, we're taking out the discordant.
So you can
Yeah.
soak the seed,
Okay.
soak the seeds in it. But for little precaution, we bought these really awesome, awesome spinach seed.
Oh. They were
And we've
hybrids.
been buying this a
Spinach
local
leaves
farm, and she gets
big.
leaves that are like this.
And it's
And we're-
yummy.
We were like, what seeds do you
Oh,
get?
yum.
You know, and we asked for that, we ordered them. And after, you know, later I was like, oh, I bet those are hybrids.
Uh-huh.
So the plant actually just looks like a regular plant. Sorry.
We
Yeah.
took away the
I
hybrid.
took away the hybrid.
Thank
That's
you.
so
Thank you.
beautiful. Like I mean, for
Yeah.
food preservation
Here.
and food correction, that's amazing. Now
But-
Josie has her hand raised too. I'm sorry. Go ahead, start. My
Just-
apologies for that.
Plasma,
Interrupting.
be careful what you're asking for.
Right.
Okay.
And I'm going to share a beautiful story right here on this one too.
We can probably ask it to make bigger leaves.
Because I had a friend, she was wanting a solution to get rid of the black circles under her eyes. I know, right? And so Heather went into her lab and did a little magic and came up with a formula. And we made the solution, plasma, just plasma waters, and put it in a bottle, and it was labeled dark circles.
Yes, she labeled it dark circle.
My friend labeled it dark circles. Well, she left when the bottle of it was left here, and she went on about back home. Anyway, so I go and pull out this bottle one day, and it's full of dark things all in the bottle, and they're kind of round. And I showed Heather, we started to examine, I went, it's dark circles. Dark circles all in this bottle. Dark circles.
And the plasma that we had made it out of in another container that was not labeled that did not have it.
No, did not have that because it was not labeled that way.
Talk
Okay.
about the law of attraction and the power of languaging and
And
really languaging.
And the words are powerful, dark circles written on it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Everything's so powerful.
Right, which prompts you to think of dark circles.
It's a teaching product also, you know. It's
Wow.
a teaching process to people, you know, for us.
That was a learning for her.
Yeah, be careful with your
Reinforcement.
words and everything.
Mm.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you for that. That is a very important lesson as we work with plasma water.
Words are power.
Very much so. Josie, your hand's raised. Thank you. That's
All right, go ahead.
excellent. Oh no, Josie, we can't hear you. Uh-oh. Still, so you're unmuted, but for whatever reason, we cannot hear you. Maybe is your volume on your computer on? Hopefully. Oh, okay. Yikes. Yikes. Do you maybe have a headset, or you can chat the question maybe? Perfect. Perfect. Josie's great. She's one of our friends from Canada who's moving to Mexico. So she's
Okay.
really excited and exciting, and she has so many different modalities, including healing, and she's involved with several freedom groups up north as well. So
Nice.
she always has really great questions. And everyone here, you know, any great discussions, by the way. But to your point, Heather and Linda, yeah, a lot of people don't realize how they create via their language. And
Yes.
so like the languaging, and thank you so much for articulating playing, because that's a very important concept, right? Because especially when we're doing work, you know, it's a very heavy kind of like chain ball type of feel, right?
Uh-huh.
It's like making it harder and takes more time versus like playing where, you know, it just kind of effortlessly flows
Yes.
from one discovery to the next. Or I mean, it's you guys have been working on this for a decade at least, or maybe more.
I suppose.
Oh,
now.
Oh, I guess
Yeah.
so.
And that's one thing I was going to mention. When I see the little spray bottle on the counter, it reminds me to interact with the things.
Yeah.
You know, do I need that? You know, at this point, probably not, but
No,
I'll grab it and I'll spray it.
it's
and
still
say,
fun.
you know, preserve, accentuate your nutrients and prepare
Yeah.
them for absorption in my body.
All the
and
nutrients my
thank you.
body needs.
Thank you to everybody who brought this to me this day.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's a
Oh.
little
Play
cue.
toy. It's
It's a cue.
it's a cute, yeah.
That's wonderful. So, I mean, apparently you both have experienced so much more increased health, vitality, and energy since using the water. I mean, apparently it's very apparent to all of us.
I don't know if we were just like this or not. Yeah, people always ask that. Do you feel it? Does it change you?
Well-
We do so many things. We're into everything. So I can't really say what
Well,
happened from what. I can tell you that I've had, you asked me if there was that one experience that really kind of showed me what the plasma was. And I'll share that real quick. While I was just starting to make the stuff, my cat had accidentally, we scared each other, took a bite out of my knuckle and the thing swole up. Oh my gosh. And at some point I was like, oh, I'm not going to see a doctor. It was starting to have the little red streak down here and the swelling wouldn't move and I couldn't type. And anyways, I was making the GaNS and I put the GaNS in a little pouch, put it on my finger, saying, you know, I really, with that intention, I don't want to go to the doctor. Can we decrease the swelling here, please? And like within 20 minutes, I mean, this thing had been swollen for a week and just hard and solid. And yeah, within 20 minutes, I was starting to have my range of motion back. I was starting to move it. The edema was coming out of it. By later that day, all the redness was gone. And it took, you know, maybe the next day or two to really dissipate. But I felt like if there was any infective process in there, which I think there was, and the swelling and the, you know, decreased fluid movement, I was just like, okay, there's something in that, right?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
there's something that is working.
That's awesome. That is great.
we have
Huge.
amazing
Oh,
stories
yeah.
about this stuff.
So there's a free ebook that's on the
And
Etsy site
Facebook page.
and the Facebook page.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
When we first started this, we're still calling it an experiment.
Oh, yeah.
All along, it's an experiment. But on the we did the Facebook page, and everyone that we shared the plasma with, we asked them to use it and play with it and give us feedback. So on the Facebook, there are many stories of people's experiences with this plasma
Mm.
from 2014,
Mhm.
and it's still somewhat active. So the page is. So
Okay.
it's
Yep.
really neat, beautiful stories.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We'll definitely have to check out the Facebook page. Now, Josie has her questions, so I'm going to just share it before we go into Raya's question next. So I've had the plasma vials for a while, and I've been playing with it to enable to affect the water flow under my home in order to align the energetic flow and create a harmonious, beneficial field around the property. Has there been any similar experience with anything of this magnitude that she shared? So again, she's using the plasma vial to enable to affect the water flow under her home, to align the energetic flow and really create a harmonious, beneficial field around the property.
I'm just checking right quick.
And I'll tell you a story while we're waiting on the, anyway, my mother lives in Georgia in the US, And she had this man-made pond, big pond, and the water was always murky and cloudy and ugly looking. And I suggested that I sent her some of the plasma patches time that we were making, and explained to her how to do da. So she made some water and dumped it in the pond. That pond cleared up. I mean, it's just a hole in the ground with water in it. It's man-made. It's got no streams running through it, keep it running or anything. It was dead water. And she put the plasma water in it. That pond cleared. Beautiful clear water in it. I mean,
Wow.
People use it in their swimming pools, and they have to use less,
less
chemicals
chemicals,
and stuff like
less
that.
maintenance in their swimming pools and stuff. So it's very effective with water, of course. You know,
So back to her question. So I'm thinking of how to kind of quantify that. So before the plasma water, I'm just asking, what percent harmonious and clear were the energies of the water underneath her home. And I've got about a 30%. So 30% clear means 70% not so clear and harmonious, right? And then I asked, what was the effect of the plasma water on that? Where is it at now compared to that 30% initially? Oh, I don't know, it's 95 to 100% clear. The flow and energetics around it, if I'm understanding that word right. Or is she talking about the physical flow, like volumes of water, or more energetic? I guess
Energetic. Yep. Energetic flow and awesome. Josie's showing thumbs up, hands raised. So that's huge. That's huge.
yeah.
Thank you so much. Oh, and what's your Facebook page, by the way? That's a question in the chat.
Hbplasmasolutions.
Okay, Hbplasmasolutions. I'll try to find that. And then Raya has a question. Go ahead, Raya.
Hi everyone. Hi ladies. I'm looking forward to your share today. I don't know if you know, but I'm the one that I do have your plasma stuff. I'm in Mexico, and my vials went, I think, to Europe and kind of went around.
Oh,
Finally,
Yes.
so I
They
wouldn't use
went on vacation.
they
in
went on
Europe.
the European vacation.
yeah. So I've been using them, and it's really fun. I find that just even, it's that Emoto effect. When I do the spray, it reminds me to put that positive intention towards the plants or the vegetables.
Yes.
But anyways, my question, and it actually just came up this morning, an idea that I'd like to play with my kids, my sons, is to create our own, the cash, how they have that cup of life.
Yes.
And my understanding is you can make your own out of, you just need a few tools, copper and things. And I was wondering if you guys have like either instructions or like a YouTube video you could recommend that we could play with that here.
Yeah, we actually we've had a couple of people that their kids did it for a science project. We put together these little kits. For somebody like you that's been playing with them for a little while, I'm tempted to send you one. But yes, and I have a PDF on how to set it up and use it, and it's definitely something we need to develop. But I'm trying to, you guys can let me know how best to communicate with you, where I would post that information for you, or I can just send it. I know you on Facebook, I think.
Yeah.
Right. So
yeah, whatever is easier for you. I can type my email in, or maybe Carissa will have good ideas to how to share that information best.
Yeah, definitely. Heather and Linda, when I send you the recording, I can definitely copy Raya on that email. So again, I just need your email address where I need to send you the recording directly. So then I can include Raya's contact information on there as well. So
I emailed that to you earlier, Carissa.
Oh, great. Thank you.
It was probably a week ago. I'll send it again.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
So I put in the chat our BitChute, our MeWe, our
awesome. This is great. We'll also be including this in the recording link. So this is super helpful for anyone listening to the recording as well.
Yeah, I would be interested in the kids, whatever you have there for, like Raya says.
I'm really like, I appreciate the whole Jesus thing. You know, you want to teach people to fish. You don't want to just sell them a fish.
Yeah.
Right.
But there's so many nuances to this stuff that a lot of people don't have the time or space to really do all that.
Devote to it. Exactly.
There's a fit for all of it, right? There's a fit for,
Mhm.
hey, you know, just send me some, let me enhance my life and let me work that out. And then there's people that do have the time and space and the interest to do it. And yes, that's the ultimate alchemy there, because then you're making
Yeah.
what your
From the heart.
system is asking for.
Mhm.
You know, just like you're growing your own plants, you're growing your own garden. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and therein lies, like, to your point, the key is the alchemy too, and the intention.
Mhm.
And there's a point to making your own GaNSs. It's you, it's yourself that you're making. I mean, that's part of you.
Right.
So when we send you out the little tiny tubes, you're getting a part of us
Yeah.
Right.
in that sense.
And
I mean,
that's a good place to bring in the discussion of, you know, we definitely appreciate the concepts of alchemy here. We're very mindful of where we're at in our hearts when we're working with the stuff.
yeah,
We
very mindful and
Mhm.
have space.
a super cohesive relationship and
Yeah.
energy around this space and place. And we make sure we involve nature and source and
love
love and
friendly
ease
and
and
laughter
grace
and
Oh,
play.
that's beautiful.
That goes
harmony
into
and-
our plasmas.
and the intention is
Yeah.
the highest, it's the, you know, the highest outcome for
Yeah.
every person that receives it.
Yes,
Yeah.
we make it.
Beautiful.
Yep.
It definitely sounds like it's a very, it's almost, the act is also, like they say, like a state of worship and
Mhm.
gratitude and blessings.
There's a lot of reverence about it.
Reverence, that's the word.
Yes. Yes.
Gratitude,
That-
yeah.
Reverence for all of
beautiful.
our other selves.
Yeah.
And so Chuck has a question, and after Chuck's question, if there's no other questions, we're going to go into Margie's sharing and adventures in plasma water as well, because she's been playing with it as well. So go ahead, Chuck.
Oh, thank you, Carissa. First of all, I wanted to thank you two ladies so much from the bottom of my heart. The work that you've done is tremendous, and because this is such a life-changing thing. Yeah, I feel like for the whole, I mean, the universe. I mean, this is just such a beautiful. Thank you. The question that, like, okay, so the kits, would it be best just to just go through Etsy and just purchase them that way, the kits? And how long do they take to get once we purchase it?
Well, today is the first day that we've thought of actually doing it. So it's not on there. It's out in the lab in various, the completion, stages of completion. There we go. So just thinking on the fly here, well, I got to consult with my consultant over here. Asking about, you know, when we might be able to have the kids up and ready. And
As soon as we go out and look, see what we have.
really? Okay, I was gonna say about a month. Yeah,
Okay.
because I've got a couple of projects on the plate right now where I need to get to. And I want to make sure that those are to their states of readiness
Yeah.
before I jump into another
Yeah.
another subject.
There's
So yeah, for now, I think it'd be a great idea to, I can definitely send you like the PDFs on how to do it, the videos that we have done. And it'd be great for people to look at those as a preamble and say, you know, kind of get an idea of the process, right? What kind of tools and things that they're gonna need to set up.
Yeah.
And if they really want to get into that or not. You know, so
It's
I
time
think
consuming.
let's do that the first month. Is that okay?
Okay. That sounds perfect. It sounds perfect. We need to do our homework before we commit to see the information. So thank you for that. There is a question from Josie on the chat before we go to Deb. So Josie mentions, I've also experimented with wearing the vials with the plasma water with the intent of cleansing and clearing my body systems, and also to exponentially change the vitality of my body. Any input or experience with that?
That's a great idea. Because it's going to talk to your cells and get that on the project, right? The jewelry, to me, it takes it to a little bit different level because you're wearing it instead of ingesting it, but it works via the field. So I've got one on right now. So if this, one of our perceptive friends said that they emanate a field about 1.5 feet around. So, this area, right, is getting that. And then your bloodstream is sending that blood through that region, every 7 minutes, I believe it does, going through there. So using the plasma with the body makes so much sense because the body is plasma, right? I have a whole PDF on that as well. That the body knows plasma, it is plasma, it operates on those principles. So you're not giving it anything inorganic or strange or weird. You're giving it something that it's used to working with. And it's like, oh, okay, I understand this song, right?
I know the words to this one.
I know the words to this song. Yeah, because we can go into that now or not, but just the different ways that the body is and works with plasma. I may require.
Yeah, please do go into that now. Now's a great time than any. Go ahead, Deb. Go ahead and just start asking the question.
We drink a lot of water. We drink lots of water.
Sorry, did you just say go ahead, Deb? Sorry. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, mine was going back to a previous question. I think it was Margie that raised about the swimming pool, or one of the others. I'm not quite sure. But we're only talking the vial quantity. Like, we've got the little perfume vials. That's what we receive. So we're only talking the vial quantities, or do you sort of calculate on volume, or is it as simple, just open the vial, put the water in the swimming pool?
I'm not sure I totally understand your question.
Okay, so one of the people asked about clearing the water. Sorry?
Size, you're asking, does the size matter on the field?
Yeah, does size matter? Yeah.
Well, yes, but with like the small bottle of water, this would take 5 minutes to plasmify. Okay.
Oh, a whole like a swimming pool, for example.
Swimming pool
volume.
You want for 5 gallons or 10 gallons. It depends on the pool.
Okay.
The more the water,
the
longer it's going to take with this little vial.
Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking. If it's about a 1.5, 1.5 foot projection. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. That's what I was trying to get to. Yeah.
Now, in the literature now, there's a friend that did plasmify his swimming pool.
Yeah.
And there's pictures. He had a friend. Our friend had a friend that had a camera that would record the auras.
Yeah.
And
about Curlian photography kind of.
Yeah, that kind of thing. And it's the golden aura all around his pool.
Yeah, and it took.
Oh wow.
Forget I have it's in
the literature.
It took like 10 days.
Right, okay, like Carillion photography you're talking. Yeah. Okay. All right. So the extrapolation would be, if we have a vial, we put it next to a 5-gallon drum, for example, and that plasmifies that 5-gallon drum. It all starts with the core vial. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and you think of it, so you've got the little vial here, the little vial here, that plasmifies this water. So now you have this vial, right?
Yep.
So how much, is that field more eventually? Like you were saying about the torus, it's always a torus with torus.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
And there's a primary field, that's, fairly close to you, me, whatever, our 6-foot field.
Yeah.
But we go on into,
my vision is our original intention was to get this plasma around the planet.
Yeah.
And
I think you've done that. Wow.
But now see this. Now it started here, and we're mailing it around the planet. And before long, these fields are going to
Connect with each other.
interconnect with each other
Yeah.
And
all
it's
on
not
this
just-
planet.
Okay, I don't want to give the impression it's just us.
It's
Like
more people.
thousands of people took these classes and are making this stuff and playing with it in whatever way they're playing with it. And
All over the
Yeah,
planet.
yeah, so it
yeah,
all
I
works.
liked your comment about the intersecting versica Pisces, because that's in the toroidal field model we were using. It was the 3D
Yes.
flower of life of all the combined toroidal fields intersecting with all those versica Pisces, creating exactly what you're saying.
Yes.
So, wow. Thanks, ladies. Thank
Yeah.
you.
That's awesome. Now about larger quantities. When you have an 1.5 acre pond, lake, you do the same thing. Several buckets, vials right and left.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I would say I don't think we've done one that big, but I'm
Well,
just thinking
we've
about the
done this-
swimming pool.
We've
and-
done this land.
And what I've done
but of
is,
course-
well, even like you go to a public area that's got a big pond or a
Yeah.
big, let's say, there's a big water feature in front of a building where some people might be going to make a lot of decisions about our country. So, if you pour water into that fountain in that region, in that area, does that have an effect on it? I assume it does.
Yes.
Oh,
I-
yes.
I
Wonderful.
add too.
We do that everywhere we go. We pour
yeah, but-
plasma water in all the water
But
areas.
with a big pond, yeah, you got my wheels turning, would you because you don't want to put anything glass in there. But you could definitely pour the actual water in there. You could put some containers around probably 3 sides of the pond or the area so that you're creating a field within it. Some people will put even like a floating something in the water, and you could always put a container of plasma there if you choose, that would
Right, you
float.
could like a swim ring, it's just a huge thing and hang it up in the middle.
Oh,
Okay.
you got my
That is so beautiful because we're all across the
yeah.
country. So if we
Yes.
put it like when we learn to create our own GaNS and we recreate the plasma water, right, with the intention of really bringing back everything to source and bringing back to alignment with Mother Nature and the highest and greatest good. Can you imagine the changes that'll occur in the waterways and in the quality of the water across the world, not even the country?
Yes.
And imagine putting water down if you're in the city,
Mhm,
water down your
mhm.
drain, put
Well,
water
you
down
do
your
anyways
toilet.
when you go to the
What-
party.
because you're using your potty and you're putting it down your toilet, and it's
Mhm.
getting into the city system.
Mhm.
It's coming from all over, which is going back all over. It's a mushroom. It just goes.
Mhm. It's exponential, and that's the way
And-
nature is.
And Gaia
Yeah.
is in 200% approval of
Yeah,
us doing her water.
We did have a
plates.
discussion with Gaia through some
Yeah.
trusted sources and say, okay, are you cool with us doing this, right?
Oh, yeah.
Putting our water in your water. Oh, yes, definitely.
200%.
200%, she said. So,
Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's so beautiful. And thank you for this presentation today. Like I had a dream a month ago or so where the dream pretty much said you actually need to be more aligned with like the elements, weather, flora, fauna, all of that. Like the human element, okay, you're done with the gnosis and knowledge with the human element. You need to start working on this element. You need to start working in this area. So like you guys are definitely the answer to my prayers in the next evolution, whatever this chapter means, if not all of ours, thank you.
Aw.
Thank you.
well, that's been my overall drive for any of this stuff
Yeah.
is to help make it usable and understandable for people. Right, because it's such a great technology, but the way it was brought forth and presented, it's not necessarily that easy to kind of get and or do. And I'm like, okay, if I can be a little bit of a bridge to that would be great.
Don't try too hard. Don't try too
Okay.
hard.
Yeah.
To get plasma stuff, don't try hard at all. Be easy on yourself.
All right.
Just-
Deb,
It comes to you.
oh,
It's
thank
so
you.
wonderful. So very
Thank you.
grateful for this conversation and all the information and listening to you and seeing you and Really, I think the hope of the future is the water and the plasma and the gratitude in it, and all that expansion. Then all the positives can connect all over.
Yeah.
And it really would help a lot if we do it a lot more. So grateful to both
Everybody's
of you.
helping with this now, you know.
Mhm.
Everybody,
Yeah.
the plasma's helping with this.
Oh, yeah.
For sure, for sure. Go ahead, Deb, and then after you, Margie's going to share her experiences, and then we'll round out with Heather and Linda talking about how the body systems work with plasma water. So go ahead.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right. Thank you. Sorry, I've got so many questions. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Melinda, for connecting us up. And this is so exciting. Okay. So my next contemplation, because Carissa, you talked about the dream state. Most of my lucid dreams and out-of-body experiences are where I work with plasma. Okay. So it actually becomes like I'm a 3D printer, and it extrudes out of me. And you get the filaments, you get the particles congealing, you get the whole process running through as per Penny's five-step process with plasma, the configuration and creation. It'd be so cool to put a plasma vial under your pillow with the intention to help you create responsibly, consciously, and ethically while you sleep for the good of the planet. The affirmation, the connection of that consciousness, because we all our natural cities are inherent when we're in that other state, that non-physical state, and we have no inhibitions or limitations. The only thing we have to do is ensure that we're doing this consciously and ethically, so and responsibly. But it's an amazing opportunity to use the plasma water to help us to work in the dream state as well. Because I've had so many cool experiences creating with plasma in that state. So I've got a whole lots of thoughts rolling around here, ladies. Thank you, and thanks for bringing up that,
yes.
Teresa.
Well, just I was going to tell her about Susan and Sammy.
But I was going to just say now, be mindful, if you will. Some people may be overwhelmed with that much plasma.
Right.
All the time.
Well, just take a break from it periodically.
Because we have friends that we've sent it to, and they can't sleep if it's in bed with them.
Oh, right.
And
no, I've never actually done it. This happens anyway. So I'm just thinking of potentials here, because this is happening anyway.
Yes.
So it's a pretty cool, yeah. Wow. Okay.
Some adverse reactions is too much. If your body's not ready for it, if your consciousness is not ready, it's all fun, but you could overload if you're not ready for.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. I'm pleased I brought it up, because I got very excited then.
Yeah.
Well, and I think it's important, like anything, is you don't have it around you maybe 100% of the time.
Until you get
the
used to
idea
it.
to teach your body to tune to that, so then take it off every now and then.
But then when you're ready, come back to it the next day or something, just take a break.
Until you eventually just, assimilate it.
Yeah.
I guess you just assimilate at some point, but you can make we call them a massage table overlay out of the plasma water, right?
And that's in the videos
too. How to make them. And then, another lady, she's does that microblading with the eyebrows or whatever. So she made a thing to put under her clients. So it chillaxes them down to that kind of theta receptive, I'm relaxed kind of state, so she can work with them, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. That's actually really good guidance, and I really appreciate it. Thanks, ladies.
So insightful. You both have such a wealth of knowledge. Thank you so much. Margie is going to now share her adventures with plasma water.
Yay! I cannot remember exactly when I bought it. So I don't know if it's been even a year yet. Maybe it has. I don't know, not quite. I'm not exactly sure, because I worked on a plant, and it went from like just a little cutting to like a plant in about 4 months or so. And this is a very slow growing house plant. That was one. And I didn't upload the pictures in time. But I did notice that when I pulled it out of the mailbox, that I could feel it all the way up, like mid-arm. You could feel it right away. And I was so excited, so excited to get the plasma. And what Linda said is true. It's all about having the consciousness of play and the consciousness of joy when you're using it, because I've had experiences where, you know, if you're kind of grumpy, or if you're giving it orders, or if you're in the wrong mindset when you're using it, it doesn't, no, we're not going to play if you're going to be like that kind of a thing. Right. But if you just nonchalant and enjoy, just ask for it. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I've had blueberries that were very sour to the taste. And I would ask it, I would say to the spray for the fruits and vegetables, please sweeten and ripen these blueberries until I'm ready to eat them. And then I said, it's going to be soon. And I would spray it, and I would go away, and then, oh my goodness, but I'd have to be in the correct mood to do that, because sometimes it won't do it.
Yes.
And I've used it in the garden this year with really great results. I wish I had, again, taken pictures. I'm still unprepared, but the latest discovery with the plasma, and I don't know if this has anything to do with the healing energy work that I channel. It's the Mariel healing energy, and it works with trauma. It brings up everybody's stuff from the closet, it brings it out, and it comes up to heal. But having the plasma around the house with those that aren't on the same page as I am, so to speak, is very interesting to watch. From what Linda and Heather were just speaking about, it works with different healing energies. And I'm telling you, it pulls people's, you know,
junk in the trunk out.
Thank you. Yes. But if I hadn't had the Mariel training to prepare for that kind of trauma, I wouldn't know where this was coming from. But I just understand that it's pulling out their trauma, and it's being released, and it's helping, and it's healing them. So that's a good thing.
That's kind of like your knee. Save that for another moment. Yes.
Yeah.
It works.
I was leaving the garden, coming home, and I had to walk past the pool and up the grass. And there was a dead frog upside down on the sidewalk. I thought he was dead, but his feet were starting to dry out. It was a pitifully hot day. And I was like, wow, I was really worried about its feet because they were starting to they were done. I thought he was dead, so I was going to move him to the grass. But when I moved him, I could see there was a little bit of life left. So I picked him up and I brought him in the house. My mom didn't know and told her later. I brought the frog in. And I took the plasma water out and I started to spray it. And I was a little bit worried because I think a bird might have dropped it out of the sky. You know, they're kind of rough. So it might have poked them or squeezed them a little bit too hard. But I tried anyway. I put him outside in a tray. I spritzed him with tons of water. I kept him in the shade. And I was looking at him really close and talking with him. And I just, programming with the plant and vegetable spray, I just say alive and thrive, alive and thriving. Nice. And I just let it be.
Yes.
I came back and I would check on him like every 30 minutes or so. I just come check, and then I would spritz him and he flinched. And I'm like, oh, wow, he flinched. I was so excited. I made him flinch some more because I wanted to see that he had that will to live. And I kept trying, and he made it all day. And I thought, okay, he was standing up. He was finally on his arms in a good position. There was a sense of happiness coming from him. I cannot describe it. Like, oh, I'm going to do this, and I'm getting ready to hop. And he tried to hop out of the tray, and his feet started to come back. Like the dryness was starting to fill up and become rehydrated. I mean, it's a frog, and they can do weird things, like in the mud. They can live, and they can slow down their pulse, and they can do all kinds of things like that. So he didn't make it overnight. I put him outside under a bush, and I had a well-protected area. I kept him plenty drenched. I made sure he was slanted and not drowning in the water, and he looked very pleased. But he didn't make it overnight though. But he did have a wonderful day. if it ever
Okay.
went away.
And he released that trauma. So he's gone
Yeah.
on to his next life clear.
You went on to those next life clear. But the plasma is just amazing. So I have a gallon jug that I taped the water I'm going to drink. I just tape that, and that's what I have for the day. And every morning when I open a new one, I bless it. I bless the water. I shake it up first to the east, bless it, and then I open it. I pour it into my jug that has the vial, and I do a left spin on it. I use a funnel on it and make sure I get that left spin in the funnel. At the same time, I'm talking to the water, and I'm thanking it for its healing gifts. I'm thanking it for its joy and its babbling brooks and the effervescent. If you can picture the streams, and I'm just thank you for being the perfect water tension to penetrate my body cells, to flush out all toxicity, all kinds of things. And I'm just in such gratitude for this water. And then that's my water for the day. And so far, so good. I've been noticing the benefits, and I'll stick things like I do take blood pressure medicine, so I put that next to it. I've been putting my makeup next to it. I've been putting facial wash next to it. Anything that I can think of to stick in between the two, like the sprayer and the jug of water, I'll put that in there.
Just have a little field.
It's just that's exactly.
Excellent. Yeah. Oh wow. Love that.
I tried to do experiment with the water, but the freezer is small, so I can't have. I need another freezer, so I have to put some of the plasma water in this freezer, and then take a sample to my daughter's house and put it in there. And see what happens, because they would look exactly the same, the samples, because they're right next to each other. It's a small freezer.
That's the hard thing about doing any scientific research with this stuff. You have two plants next to each other, they're gonna share. The fields, whether you're growing it with them or not.
That's true. Everything gets it. And if this place is very small, so the whole place is getting it. And I do have areas outside, like there's a pool here in this community, so I could try some in the water, but I don't really know how to be a scientist with that, like what to notice. Like I don't really know, like if somebody has a condition and then would go in and swim in the water, would they be healed? Because I know Raymond Grace, as a dowser, his friend Walt Woods or another gentleman had made a flower of life, and they put that in the water. It was his intention with frequencies and plasma is so strong that pool was actually very healing. And anybody who went in it swam to the end, and they were healed. So
well, I always say that it's, the potentials are there for anybody that is open and gives permission. Right.
That's true.
You're not infringing on anybody's free will.
Right.
And I feel the plasma will do that too. People are asking, is it too high frequency? Do we need a lower, I don't know, tube or different levels? And I don't feel like it's going to give you anything that you're not in harmony with.
It's conscious.
I think it's just
like overdose effect or something.
No, I think it's just going to clear you out until you get to that frequency of the consciousness of what it is. Like what you said earlier about returning everything to the divine blueprint, what our original blueprint is. And I've seen work where they use light through some genetically modified organism, and then they put the true organism in front of it, and then it would turn back into it. So it's whatever frequency it'll bring you up, which is why it clears everybody's closet when they're around it. This is because they were junk out of the trunk, you said.
Put it in that community pool and ask for, intend for harmony and coherence with anyone.
I knew you were going to say that, the harmony. That's exactly what I want to put in the pool, because there's been such a couple of incidences recently.
You will see that.
Well, and you can physically pour the water in, you can sit bottles around it, or since you're drinking it, you are you're in the pool is what I'm trying to say.
With the intention of my plasma is going to
plasmify this. Just imbue the rest of the water with what you're vibing at there.
I don't go in that often. I do, the best time to go in is after a downpour. That's when I'd like to go in,
Plasma
because the water just, pardon me?
Once you get it plasmified, it'll be fine.
Well, that's what I'm gonna do next, but I don't want anybody to, I have to do it at off hours, because if I go in there with my jug and I'm pouring water in, and everybody's gonna say, Margie's pouring something into the pool, what the heck? What's she pouring in there?
Start with small bottles, just drinking bottle, and just pour some water out as you're sitting there drinking it.
Yeah, I don't think she needs to pour it though. She's already that. Just stick your feet in the pool.
There's
and
ways
stand
to
there
do it.
and talk to people. Yep.
I'll try that. But with plants and with joy and with happiness, it's just amazing. I brought a birch tree that I thought I had killed back to life, and through my strong intention and the plasma, it came back to life. And then I didn't get it in the ground fast enough, so it kind of died again in the heat. So I'm going to try again. But I don't know if nature's given up on me. Hope not.
You do get. How many do-overs you let us know.
Yeah, I'll try. This poor tree, it's been trying to get in the ground for a couple years now.
Oh my.
It keeps coming back.
Well, just, next level of that, and you probably do it as well, is I'll go out and make sure that the tree is in communication with the land, that there's coherence that's built between the two of them. I ask the plants around it to help that plant to maintain its life force, make sure that there's a life force assigned to that plant, because sometimes if they are created in a, I don't know, a big factory kind of place somewhere, where it's mindlessly just put into the soil, that necessarily still have that connection. And just, spend some time with that, building some coherence for that little guy.
Yeah,
That
I think
helps.
I'll try that.
Ask Gaia, the nature spirits, come around and help the fella out.
Thanks for that reminder.
If you choose to stay.
I will do that. That's a great gift to give to the tree.
The tree I want to stay.
Yeah, I guess ask him. Ask him.
But the best experience is just to get out there and play with it and have fun with it, because it is all about the joy. But I'm seeing that now. The universe is about joy, and to stay in that.
Yeah,
it's how it works.
Yeah. Beautiful. I love that.
Yay! Thanks so
you.
much for sharing, Margie. And thank you for those reminders. That's really vital, Heather and Linda, to because when we do drink the plasma water, we are the frequency.
Yeah.
So those are huge. Those are very important reminders, because we tend to think like, oh, I need to do it this way, and it's like, oh yeah, we can do it that way, can't we? So you were going to share some experiences with how the body, working with the body and plasma water, and including like wearing it, or how the body responds with the plasma water. If you wouldn't mind sharing them now would be a great time.
Okay. Well, the first one that came to mind was early on when we were making the patches out of the plasma. Linda was going through a few moments with her knee, and it didn't want her to get up off the couch or walk on it with or without crutches. And didn't know why. It just kind of happened. It wasn't an injury or anything. And I said, oh, let me, of course, go and make some patches, right? So I made some patches for the good knee and the knee that was going through what it was going through.
It was still a good knee.
Yeah, I just asked the other knee to harmonize that one, right? This knee is working well, the meridians are working fine, the energetics are, then let's just kind of copy paste that onto this knee.
Yeah.
And just playing with it. And here in a little bit, I think it was about 30 minutes. I was like, where's Linda? She's not on the couch.
I jumped up and down running.
She's running down the hallway, and I'm like, what are you doing? Having fun? Lay back down. And then later I checked in with a friend of ours who also does energy work, and she kind of looked back on the scene, and she said, well, what she saw was that plasma patch was helping to pull together all the reasons, energetic reasons, why that knee had swollen up. It was pulling them all together. She could just kind of see them kind of going into this little vortex, and just kind of flush the toilet kind of a thing happening. So it was And that was before I did that type of energy work and really understood that whole process, right? So that really kind of got my attention. I was like, oh, I need to look more into what the energetic causes are of things when something's not physical, right? So that's part of the body story. But the other thing I was going to go into, and I'll try to do it fairly briefly, but that just the concept that the body knows plasma and it is operating already on those principles. For example, when you eat something, right? How do you get the energy from that food? It's not the physical chunks of the strawberry that are going across the lining of your gut into your bloodstream. It is the energetic frequency of that strawberry. So yes, you break it down, your body goes through the process, kind of like we do with the making the fruit and veggie preservative and those kind of things, is the food is broken down by pH changes, right, into smaller components, until it gets into its nano state. And that nano state is that single noble particle that who's it? The other lady was explaining that about how plasma works, right? It is a single particle with its own field. It doesn't need to be attached to anything else. It's just emanating what it is. So when you eat something, your body's got to do that. It's got to break all that down, get it down into that state. And then it's the actual energetic signature of that strawberry that goes across from your gut into your bloodstream to raise your energy, right? So the body knows how to do this. It does it already. And by drinking the plasma water, and then, what we put in these was like the plasma essence of like 33 or something organic fruits and veggies. 33. So that's in here. You're just bypassing some of those steps, right?
You're bypassing eating food.
Well, eventually, I think that would be maybe one component of this would be to start decreasing the amount of food that you eat. And we definitely have. I mean, it's amazing how little we can eat and then we're full, right? And I know a lot of people that have been working with this technology have also, some of them don't eat at all, but yeah, I still like food. Thank you.
I love food.
And the social aspects of it. So that's the food component of it. Everybody talks about the blood being plasma. Yes, it is plasma, but the anatomy word plasma is a little different than what we're talking about. But the structure of that bloodstream, it's inside a sealed tube going around in your body, and the movement itself is creating those the energetic movement of the fields, right? And then you go into the lungs. That's the next part where you can realize where plasma is happening. It's not the physical molecule of oxygen that I breathe in that even goes across that little barrier between the lungs and the bloodstream. It is the energetic signature of oxygen that the hemoglobin is like, oh, yes, I know what that is. Okay, blink. Okay, now it moves along, and does its thing. So just the point is that the body operates on that system. So you're not doing anything inorganic or weird or funky or different.
No,
you're just maybe bypassing some of the steps and kind of reminding the body how to work that way as well. Because, so many bodies have consumed so many foods that don't have much energy left in them anymore, right? That's one reason people go into some of these diseased states and whatnot, is they're taking in foods that have not a whole lot of the energetic signature of the original critter in there, after it's been boiled and microwaved and pulverized and whatever and boxed and canned. There's not a whole lot of that left. So they think they need to eat a lot more, right? Because they're not getting that energy, the energetics.
Yeah, you're spot on about the nutrition, because there's barely any nutrition in the food. Unfortunately, folks are compelled to eat more. But again, what they're picking or choosing, again, is processed with blocking that life energy. That's huge. Deb has a question, by the way. Oh, this is amazing. So thank you, ladies. I never even knew those were like consequences of working with the technology too, is you can right potentially become a breatharian, as they say.
Yeah.
I go one of these days, years. Maybe I still like to. Okay.
Oh, thank you, lady. I've got another question. I'm just, as you're talking, I've got something trying to sort of correlate in my head. So if I was thinking of plasma, I see it as the basic building block of life, like in its own right, a spherical plasma donut, which goes back to that same model we were talking about, that 3D flower of life, of all the donuts coming together, going right through the cosmological scale. But how does that correlate to, say, the Planck spherical unit? Like if in the quantum level, we also have that spherical unit, which is called the Planck sphere. Is it the same? I'm just trying to correlate the two, just for a clear definition in my own mind.
Yeah, I did take one of Nassim's classes. I don't know that I understood it as much as you do. It sounds like you got a really good base for that. So I don't know that I can make that comparison for you. I would think that it would go down that scale, just because, you know, each of these little like white fluffy things in here, the GaNs, each little particle, Kesh describes it as a sun. It's a complete sun.
Yeah.
Emanating its own toroidal field. And within that toroidal field, you know, is that 0 point center point, you know, like there would be
explosion energy.
So where does the Planck fall in there? Not real sure how to.
Or is it the same thing? Because what you're saying, if Kesh is describing it as a mini sun, that's the same as a toroidal field anyway. Implosion, particle generation, explosion. So it's all intelligent. It's all consciousness and coherence and light, isn't it?
And so to your point, Deb, and linking to what Heather and Linda shared, this is where the vortex happened, and how, because it's a complete sun, it's creating its own vortex or its own field of creation to draw forth the reasons for any disease or anything to transmute it. Because each particle is a complete sun, creating and embedded with intention of the person that's working with the plasma water. So once the intention gets embedded into the GaNs particle, that then turns on that sun and that field of creation.
That makes so much sense. Yeah, it seems like it's the same thing, just different labels coming from different directions.
Yeah, because the terminology that Kesh uses totally has nothing to do with the terminology.
Yeah, thanks, Carissa.
And then I want to say even further. So we're talking about that GaNs particle in here. This is the first time that I've been prompted to actually send stuff out with GaNs in it. I mean, used to, we just sent the plasma water and that was sufficient, right? Once the water has been with the GaNs, now you just send the water. Now the water has the same capabilities as that GaNs. And we just put, like, you know, people are like, where is it? I don't really see it. It's just one drop. And it's like, well, in that drop, there's probably about 30 or 40, maybe 50 more. And it's like, how many suns do you need in your universe? You know? So, you know, as long as there's, you know, one or two in there, that the GaNs is there, but it doesn't necessarily have to be there. For years, we sent it out without the GaNs.
Yeah, just the plasma water, just the plain water.
Plasmified water, and distilled water.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Does all those things. Yeah.
No, thank you. Thank you.
Interesting.
And to your point, Heather and Linda, that goes back to quantum physics and relations. So like that plasma water that's been exposed to the GaNs is connected to the GaNs that it originated from, even if the GaNs isn't physically present in the water.
Yes.
Yeah. Agreed.
So this is actually greater than the mycelium network. This is
I hadn't seen it that way, but
because we love that.
Wow.
Myceliums.
Wow.
Yes.
So what is the mycelium network for those that aren't familiar with it? For all of us, you know, for us mycelium newbies.
Like the It's like the mushrooms and the fungi and all that, they're all connected. So the mycelium networks, like if you looked at a neural network, it applies at a cosmological scale, but it also applies at a planetary scale and also at a quantum scale. It doesn't matter where you're perceiving it. It's a network of connectivity. So, but at this level, when we talk specifically mycelium, it's about the fungi and the mushrooms. And Maggie, you might want to comment on that because that's more, I think, in your domain.
Mycelium is, from what I've read, is the largest living organism on this planet. Can't hear you. Where'd she go?
Oh, sorry. I said, yeah, that's it. That's the piece I was trying to weave in. I couldn't remember. Yeah, that's so cool.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions that anyone want to share? Or observations, insight, feedback? Now's the time.
I'm just gonna let you know I emailed you some of those.
Oh, thank you.
Things. I mean, I could bring them up and talk about them, or you could just, use them to send on to the people that are on here.
We've been going an hour.
Yeah, I was gonna say getting a little close to lunchtime, so it might.
Yeah, no worries. You know what? I actually don't have it, huh?
Okay, I can reply on your email and
let me.
You know what? I think
just now click send.
Well, I sent 2.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. But that's okay.
Let me resend. Hold on. So hopefully that's the one you sent it to, maybe.
Also, the links I put in the chat are like the links to where Penny had talked about the technology and the wording that she was using.
Perfect.
Been super helpful to me to have somebody that experienced and experimented with plasma so much in her life.
Yeah.
To look at and even just say, oh yeah, this is a thing.
That's a blessing. Oh wow.
Yeah, and that kind of her observations of how she feels that it works and things like that were real eye openers for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So bear with me. Yeah, I don't have it, huh? Sometimes.
Well, I guess next trip I'll see what it is that I'm doing here.
Okay. Yeah, apologies. It's my first name, Carissa _ my last name @yahoo.com.
Okay.
So yeah, this has definitely given us a lot to consider and a lot of us to think about. We're so grateful that you shared your wisdom and your insights and your experiences with us. This has been huge, and we knew that plasma water was life-changing. At the same time, the ability to change not only our life but the life of the planet is huge,
exponential. Well, I want to mention too that the little basic kit that we put up there, it's called a DIY because it just has like, here's your 2 tubes, some assembly required, you go and do it. This one we gotten to the point now again where we can put up a certain number of them every month at a really discounted price, and we do that for families that have kids that have autism or Downs. Just because we've always,
or Asperger's or anything on that
had a space in our heart for those little humans, right? And so that's in there again. We really like to be able to do that. And as time goes by, then we'll see how much we can do in that direction.
Yeah, definitely.
If you know anybody that might, just please feel free to share that with them.
Families,
Yeah, definitely. We'll definitely do that and share it with all of our friends and family. As you know, being on the leading edge, we're the kooky ones, the families we are a part of. So we definitely are going to raise this with them as far as applications, so that they too can learn. So were there anything else anyone want to share? Any other questions? Anything else? Oh, Mary's indicated one quick piece. I use plasma water in my 12-inch aero garden, or is it 12-inch aero garden, which are small hydro gardens, and the vegetables and herbs not only grow twice the size, but the flavor is wonderful.
Yes. That's one of the original people that I worked with when I was taking the the first set of classes and teaching things, was a lady in Australia that has a huge hydroponics garden, and they started using it in their systems, and wow. I've got some good documents on that one, just, making things more temperature tolerant, so where the heat and cold didn't affect it as much. Plants are bigger, the fish are happier. They're breeding like crazy. they're having to use, less, like they stopped having to like treat the fish for diseases and things like that, put stuff and chemicals in. So, and of course the plants are bigger and preserve more, when they send them to market and whatnot, then they were so much more preservable.
Yeah.
The microgreens and things like that.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah, this is so great. The application to transform the way humans live with Mother Nature. I think that's a big deal, and it be in alignment with Mother Nature as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a bit speechless also. Thank you so much for your time. This has been so eye-opening, so heartwarming. We're just all so excited for the possibilities of the future. Thanks to your discussion, it's really kind of opened a new pathway for us, each of us, to even help just the world, Mother Nature, plants, and ourselves as well in the process. So thank you.
Yeah, well, I love things that help people feel empowered.
Yes, but I see that, as we consume, well, we are plasma already in here, but some of us need a little bit more help to get it balanced, if you will. And as we plasmify more, then we go out in public. Now we're helping others at the same time, just by us being out in public around them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
why I see things weird
everywhere. Yeah, I love to wear mine out to the grocery store, especially Walmart.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, my body is doing.
Yeah, it helps me, remind me to keep my field.
I like that. I'll wear it just for Walmart protection alone.
Oh yeah.
I hate going there. So this will help. Thank you. I'm ordering
Thanks,
jewelry next.
It was so exciting. I've got so many thoughts. Thank you.
I saw your necklace and your earrings. Have you heard like any experiences or results from wearing the jewelry? In addition to the Walmart protection?
Walmart protection. Yeah, there's a beautiful individual that Penny Kelly interviewed, or vice versa. I can't remember which. The pretty over 50.
Oh yeah,
Kimberly. I think is her
Kimberly
name. Yeah,
yeah.
So she's sharing it with her group and whatnot. But so many people that are energetically sensitive. Thank goodness we know a lot of people like that. That what I've gotten so far, what they talk about is that having their energy, like more able to maintain their own energy when they're out and about, right? And we let a couple of neighbors borrow them one day, just so that I could take some cute pictures for my Etsy.
Oh, right.
Because I wanted some, pretty little models, and they're beautiful young ladies. And I didn't really expect any feedback from them. I just wanted them to go take pictures of each other and then give them back to me. And the one girl, she was like, gosh, and she when she grabbed it in her hand, she felt, like the other lady was saying, felt the energy go up her arm to her heart. And then she reached down and was touching her leg, and then she felt that energy like expand through where her hand had touched the leg and up around through it. And then when she got to the house, like, she was supposed to do chores. She didn't want to do chores. She was going to have a conversation with her dad that was real difficult. all those things just kind of went away, and she got everything done. She had the conversation with her dad. There was
Amazing
something,
conversation.
yeah, things went well. And she was like, I want some of this. And these are 20-year-olds, 19, 20-year-olds. Yeah, that they felt more
Coherent.
I think the one girl even said more grounded. I was like, you know what that is? Okay, well, whatever. And me working in the busy hospital 10 hours a day, I did feel like I was well, and I check myself when I get back to the house, right? Not picking up any extra energies and entities and or shedding all that kind of stuff. And I feel like it did help me to maintain my space.
Yeah, that's huge. That is huge. I was going to say something or ask you a question, but I completely forgot. I'm like, oh, may it come back. May it come
Drank
back.
all my water and Linda's water now.
Oh, Instagram. Are you on Instagram?
I have not ever stepped foot in there yet.
Yeah.
I'm barely trying to do Telegram lately with by the way, we sent some samples on their request to the Life Force group with Kim. So they're looking at it, and she asked the other day about, hey, does anybody know how to make plasma water? And I was like,
Kim asked that question. So it's like, okay.
So we sent some to their people that kind of do some vetting on the stuff first.
Okay.
Right. Fill it out.
Right. And under Telegram, is it again HBPlasma group that you're under?
Oh, I don't have a group there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I get on there and check messages with Life Force. That's the only reason. So many. So let's not do that.
Yeah. No worries.
Facebook and me.
Okay.
I put a me. It's a little lighter, but more clunky. But
yeah, no worries. We'll set up. So, any closing thoughts for just the group in general?
Yeah. I just know that I said this before we started the recording and before everybody got on, but I have been so pleasantly just in reception of the people that work with the group, like this one and all of Penny's Patreon people, that the compassion and the patience and the open-mindedness, the ease and grace with which they flow. It's been a pleasure working with you all.
Yeah.
Just a pleasure. I mean, even there's a little hiccup with this, that, and the other. Everybody's just
okay.
very,
We'll work it out.
Very,
attitude
cool about
they
it,
have.
Patient with us, and great humans.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you, Melinda. Thank you, everyone that participated, that attended this call. Thank you, Heather and Linda. This has been just, wow, eye-opening, mind-boggling. I mean, we knew working with plasma is like amazing. At the same time, it's like even more amazing than amazing.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's and I don't think we've seen the end of the
no, and I certainly don't
Mhm.
understand it all. Don't even think I know.
Plasma just keeps
it keeps teaching
entertaining me.
Right, it keeps giving and playing and growing.
And it's something different all the time with it. It's like, oh, I didn't know we could do that. Of course, whatever it is, it just keeps growing.
Thank you so much for being willing to work with us. We're so appreciative, and it's no accident that you connected with all of us Penny Kelly students, and so many of us have taken some or all of the intuition class series and have really been exploring expanding consciousness. And this is with the knowledge we have gathered and learned from Penny, and pairing it with this amazing tool that you guys have brought forth into the world. I mean, this gives me so much hope for healing our planet and through the water systems. And, that obviously connects everything, but we can be affecting water bodies on the other side of the planet, whether they have plasma water or not, simply through our intentions. We've learned how powerful we are. And we're ready. Our consciousness is ready for this tool. Yeah. So I know that's why the universe brought you in right now at this critical junction. And we're going to not only help with the work, but we are going to spread the word. And as many people as we can get to be using this plasma water, the better for all of us. So I just really want to thank you.
We better go back out there with sports some more.
Yeah.
So far, we've been doing good to put about 50 a month out in the, yeah.
In the
Well,
world.
thank God, each one of us is probably involved with another group or two, and we can just start by spreading the word in our other consciousness spiritual groups, and that's how it will continue to take off like, not like wildfire, it will take off like wild water.
Wild water.
I like that.
I love
But we're
that.
both fire signs, so we can do both.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well,
Yeah.
thank you, everyone. Love to
you.
you all.
So much.
Thanks, Marissa.
Look forward to connecting soon. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Heather and Linda.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank y'all.